Hello there, it's day 3 of the God is a Geek Game of the Year deliberations. My name is Adam Cook, and as always, I am joined by, and I'm going to say all 3 of their names in rapid succession to see if they all say hello at the same time and make for a rabble kind of noise. It's Nicola, Chris, and Gary.
Hi.
I
Sounds like a
tripped you out there
murloc.
by... I'd like to give Gary the proper wrestler or boxer, like, and Gary, I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like he warrants it. So, I mean, we're into day 3 now. We're, well, sort of going to be over halfway there by the time this day finishes. To recap very quickly. On day 1, we did best re-release or remake, nicest or biggest surprise and biggest disappointment. Go listen to that podcast. That's a good 2 hours, that one. Day 2 was best new IP, best story, and best sports or racing game. That was nearly 2 hours as well. Today we've got 2 categories for you. We have got best multiplayer and best visuals. Now, we're starting with best multiplayer, and as always, I'm just going to rattle off this huge list that we've got to whittle down to a top 5. And yeah, no particular order. Right. This is a long list.
It is.
This is a long list. Splatoon 2, Injustice 2, Ghost Recon Wildlands, For Honor, Player Unknown's Battlegrounds, which from now on is going to just be PUBG, Nidhogg 2, Lawbreakers, GT Sport, Ultimate Chicken Horse, Destiny 2, Call of Duty World War 2 or WW2, Tekken 7, Star Wars Battlefront 2, Absolver, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, ARMS, Everybody's Golf, Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, PES 18, Jackbox Party Pack 4, Snipper Clips, and no, that's it. That's the list. That's the massive list. It's got to be 5 by the end of this conversation, and there's 20 of them. So, shit. Is there anything that immediately stands out to anyone from that list, for good or for better or for worse? Because I'm looking at Lawbreakers.
Yeah, I think Lawbreakers needs to go. Not because it's bad, but just because nobody's playing it.
See, I did play the final version of that game, and I put it in there because I do think it's all right. But, including our own review, like, a lot of people seem to rave about it, and I thought it was decent. I didn't see the game people were ranting and raving about being the most... Because, maybe I'm wrong. It's been known to happen. But I feel like if it were that good, people would have eventually come back to it and gone, oh, it's got rave reviews, and nobody did.
I'm just going to say Titanfall 2 as a counterpoint to that, Adam.
Yeah.
Oh, but Lawbreakers is an extreme case. Like, Titanfall 2, you can still get a game of.
True, but there's only a couple of thousand online. I think last time I checked there was 3,000 online.
Okay, yeah, but I mean, I think at one point there were like double digits of Lawbreakers, so... I don't know, I think that game warrants a mention because it was pretty good, and it could have been great, but unfortunately, like, every time I tried to play it, even in the first 2 weeks, it just took ages to load because it couldn't find players. That's on PS4, so...
It's a shame because I really enjoyed the beta. I thought it was a bit of fun.
It definitely is, yeah.
But, yeah.
It was a bit too... So I don't know why this one stands out for me, but like some games kind of borrow off of other games, and it felt a bit too much like there were some good ideas, but they borrowed too much of the periphery of other things. Like the loot box stuff was too much like Overwatch, the characters... I don't know, the style of that game bounced off me as well.
The loot box was supposed... Because originally it was going to be free to play, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. It should have been. But whether that would have made it do any better or not. I mean...
I think maybe it would have done, in fairness.
Well, yeah. I mean, the question we have here is, are there 5 better multiplayer games?
Yes.
And I think there are. But, I mean, Chris, you played a bit of Lawbreakers, didn't you? I mean... Or did you not? I can't remember.
About 2 games of it, so I don't really remember it too much. If we're gonna mention games that probably won't end up in the last 5, but are worth a mention, Wildlands. Ghost Recon Wildlands.
I'm not ready to cut Wildlands yet.
Oh no, I don't want to cut it. I just want to. Okay. It was just more of a mention for a game that I've played this year that might not be considered one of the best 5 by everybody in this group. However, it was a lot of fun to play multiplayer. I mean, the whole
multiplayer in terms of cooperative, but the actual competitive multiplayer is garbage.
I know, but I mean, and that is important, because I think the thing about a lot of multiplayer games nowadays is there is a lot of modes within multiplayer games. So whereas, for example, like Wildlands, I didn't even play the competitive, but I will definitely die on a hill, well, a little bit, for its cooperative gameplay. It has to be... Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know that there's many multiplayer games on this list that stand out as just the complete package. I actually think, and I said this before we started, like, I don't think it's been the best year for multiplayer games, because I think so many games have been chasing this kind of games as a service or you know, don't sell us, keep playing kind of thing. And I feel like, let me put it this way, right? And this will be telling. So can anyone of the list we've got, or maybe we've forgotten some games, can anyone tell me what this year's kind of Titanfall 2 is for them? Do you know what I mean? Like the multiplayer game you just keep booting up to play a bit more of.
I mean, I'm definitely like the niche here, but mine would be GT Sport, because I played a lot of that online.
But you also had some really shitty experiences with that.
Yeah,
through no fault of your own.
But in the long run, they were kind of small. You know, like I'd had the issues with like the penalties and shit being a little bit broken, but they have got better over time. Gaz,
a little bit broken. You can be penalised for someone driving into you through no fault of your own. That is outright fucked, isn't it? Come on.
A little bit.
I'm not saying it makes it a bad game. I'm just saying I love the idea behind GT Sport Online. I think it's noble in many ways. The idea, for those listening who don't know, or maybe even Chris and Nicola, I don't know if they know much about it. The idea is that...
Can you shoot stuff in it, Adam?
No.
Well, then, no, I don't know anything about it.
It can make... Apparently, it can make you angry enough you want to get a real gun and shoot people. But like, the idea is that it makes you play... Like Gary's talked about it, that the first corner of most racing games online is just a pile-in. A pile-up, sorry. Whereas the idea of this is that you are penalised if you drive like a twat. So, in theory, it makes people play the game in a sportsmanly way. In the same way that if a footballer's running away, if you pull at their shirt when they're the last man through, that's unsportsmanlike conduct, and that's what the foul is. That's why it's a booking, you know. In that respect, GT Sport aim for that. But like Gaz has shown us in his videos that he's put on Twitter and in our company Slack channel, it's inconsistent and unfair. I'm not actually advocating cutting it. I just think, again, maybe it's a personal thing, but for me, my favourite multiplayer things this year have all kind of been local.
Yeah.
You know? Like...
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, Jackbox Party Pack is... Everyone knows how much I love those games, but it's not just those. You know, Nidhogg 2, again, played mostly locally. Snipper Clips, locally. There's another one I've lost track of. I've put on this list and I can't bloody find it now. But
Mario Kart.
I feel like Mario Kart. I mean, that's both. But again,
it's more of like
I don't know.
Everybody's Golf. I played. Like I just had on the last day that we talked about. I've played hours and hours of Everybody's Golf with Lauren. So there are not. I wouldn't say there's many games on here that I've played hours online with. I mean, whether I will with now, obviously PUBG's on Xbox. How much I'll play of that, but I'm kind of keen to play it once it kind of, you know, performs a bit better.
But I mean, even Mario plus Rabbids, right? That's now got. I haven't tested it yet because it's only not that long ago come out, and there's a lot of it's kind of more pressing games I've needed to get through. But Mario plus Rabbids has got a competitive, but the co-op is superb, and that's local. And I played that with my son, and it was just one of those fantastic. Like you're in a team together, and it's like you take a turn, then he takes a turn, and it's a turn-based game anyway, and it's just so well designed and done. Like I just feel like, again, and I'm not saying there have been no good online games because there's a bloody list, and most of them are online here. But
I suppose
I don't know. I mean, I'm waylaying the point.
Like the big one, isn't it? But like it's kind of
we need to have a longer chat about PUBG though. We need to, and I think it obviously stays till quite late, but at some point. We do need to have a discussion about PUBG.
Yeah.
Because at the point of recording, it's out on Xbox in preview program. It's not finally actually 1.0 released on PC, but it will be, I think, by the time people hear this. No, because it's the 20th, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which I don't have the calendar up, but it'll be round about then. But we need to have a chat about that. But I've still highlighted Lawbreakers, and I haven't deleted it. Is it going?
I haven't played it, so I can't talk on that one, but it sounds like it's going.
I think it's going.
It's gone. Moving around the table then, Chris, is there anything that stands out that you would like to praise or cut, or are there any locks for you, or anything you just say, right, get rid of it now?
I think the locks are. Well, actually, I don't know what locks are, because the thing is, there's a lot of games I've played online this year, and they're all like there's something good about well over half this list. So nothing really stands out to me as the best at the minute. I think Injustice 2 is excellent online, as it is the single player. But playing that online, I've had a lot of fun on that. For Honor, again, like the multiplayer for that, I absolutely loved the multiplayer for Honor, even though the single player was ass. I think Tekken 7, I love playing that online. And do you know what? Battlefront 2, despite everything, excellent. I've really enjoyed playing online Star Wars.
I was slightly worried you were going to say that.
Yeah,
because I think
it may get cut, but I will probably. It'll definitely be in my. Oh, would it though? Because PES 2018, that's awesome online.
See, PES 2018 for me, I would not. I mean, the online's the online. You know what that is. For me, PES 2018 is, not to show my hands too early, is a very strong contender purely because of random selection mode, which is admittedly offline, but that game mode is. There's no game mode I've enjoyed more this year than that in terms of multiplayer. Like, it's. I mean, I'll fight it more when we get to it, but like, yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it is. I think the random select mode's been nice. It's nice to have it back.
Absolutely.
I've never played Snipper Clips. I'm not overly asked about playing it, so I'd probably cut that straight off. What the fuck is Ultimate Chicken Horse?
Oh, well, no, see, that's another one we have to have a chat about, because, Gary, that came out last year on PC, didn't it? Or did it?
Yeah.
Shit, when was it?
I think it did. Or at least very early, like beginning of this year or something like that.
It's not, is it? I don't think it's one of the best 5.
No, it's good fun and it's ridiculous. But I would probably cut it. It's just one of those ones where you recommend it. It's good fun, but it's not top 5 multiplayer games.
I mean, just to briefly say what it is to give it its due, it's a platform game where before you and up to 4 players total, and the idea is you get a start and an end point, and the end point's kind of like the flag in Mario, and you get a turn. Well, you get turns at the start level to place an object, whether it's a platform or an enemy, some kind of enemy or something that will kill you. And then once you've all finished placing, you race to get to the finish line the quickest. And it's really cool, but it's not quite in the top 5, is it?
No.
Okay,
it's gone.
It's gone. I know no one's going to fight for that. That was Chris, wasn't it? Gary, what would you cut?
I'd probably cut Absolver.
Yeah.
It's a very good game.
No, I haven't played it.
I'd say it's more of a single player game. It just has multiplayer elements, and they're all right, but they've been done before and better. As much
I really liked Absolver though.
No, I'm not saying anything bad about it, because I mean we all know. Like, I reviewed it, I thought it was great.
It's the one I've missed. Do you know what I mean? There's always a few in the year you just can't get to, and I've got it, and it's been there, but
I don't see it being anywhere near like top 5 multiplayer games.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I'm saying there's not amazing, it's not been the best year for multiplayer. There is still some experiences here, isn't there?
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, Chris has played it, but he doesn't seem to be fussed about defending it. So it's Nicola and you really that need to decide this one, because I haven't played it.
I've not played enough of it, to be honest.
Okay.
I kind of liked it though, because it blends a bit of co-op in it, and then obviously you then have the PvP. Now I haven't played the 3v3 PvP bit, but I quite liked the 1v1, especially once you start learning a bit more of the fighting schools and learning your own sort of moves. I think it's an interesting game. I kind of feel like I don't want it off the list just yet, if I'm honest.
I mean, if you could suggest a counter cut, then if you will, that'd be another great name for the podcast. If we want the Gotti Day 3 counter cut.
Arms.
I feel very strange about Arms because it felt like everyone but me just fucking loved that game, and I'm not willing to say I loved it just because it's a new IP from Nintendo. I'm willing to say good on them, and I'm willing to say that it's not a bad game, but I'm not willing to sit here and go, oh, it's just amazing, because it just... Do you know how, like, very, very, very long time ago, you'd get a game like Street Fighter 2, right? And when you played it, you would have an arcade mode where you went through and you fought, say, 7 or 8 characters, and that was it. Then you got the credits, thanks for playing. It would literally say, thanks for playing. That was that game, and the other part of that game was you played with a mate in the same room locally. This kind of feels like that. The arcade mode was that, like, that is the arcade mode. You know, there's little vignettes in between each one. All right, it's got some mini games which most people give up on pretty quickly, and it's got an online as opposed to just an offline. But I just felt, I don't know. It's just I can't defend it. And if I can't defend it, it feels like no one else is going to. Are they?
No, I've not even played it. Don't really have any.
I mean, it
interest,
worked online. Like it worked. It played fine online.
Nobody's talking about it still, though.
To be honest, I'll be honest, I don't like the way it handled online. It puts you into this random sort of grouping of, say, 5 to 7, I think it was, other players, and it throws you against... So, like, if we're us 4 in the thing, it will throw me, all right, it's 1v1, you're against Nicola, and whoever wins that, then it breaks you off and you fight someone else, while I then join Gary and I play Chris and someone else. And it's like, that arcade mode's fine, but it didn't... It's deleted, fuck it, it's gone. I need to cut one now, and I am going to piss Chris off, I think, and say Tekken 7.
I've not played it, but I've heard that it's not great.
I
No,
didn't enjoy it
do you
at
know
all.
what? No, do you know what, you're right. It was fucked when it first came out. Absolutely broken.
Was it?
Yeah, I mentioned it in the review. Like, it was horrendous.
That's right, you did. Yeah, I remember now.
I spent, like, because obviously when you review a game and you need to review the multiplayer, you have to put a lot of time into kind of that side of it. And I was waiting for an excess of like 20 minutes for one match, and then you'd have a
Fucking
match,
hell.
and then you'd either get back on a few minutes later, or again you'd wait another 20 minutes. It was horrendous, and granted, I've not played it since. So,
but that aside, was it particularly exciting online? Like, what did it have that, you know?
well, do you know what? The difference for me between Injustice 2 and Tekken 7 is online. I can hold my own with Injustice 2. I just got fucking absolutely slaughtered on Tekken 7 because I don't know. The combat's a lot more. I feel Injustice is more technical. I might be pissing people off by saying that, but I think there's.
Yeah, but like also, mate, it's our lists, and if anyone wants to come at us and go, "Oh, get good," then like,
Oh, yeah,
one,
fuck 'em.
it's our list,
Oh,
fuck
yeah,
off, and secondly, don't be a bellend all your life. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, you
Get
wankers.
good.
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
no.
FromSoft haven't got a game out this year, so someone had to say it.
No, we've got a crappy teaser which no one cares about.
I care
found
about it, but it's not Bloodborne 2, so I don't care as
it
much.
was just a pointless teaser. That was it. There was nothing.
Yeah, it was.
But anyway,
It was. But, yes.
I'm going off track. I just found
Yeah,
Tekken
little
7 impenetrable. It was like
I just found it like Tekken.
it was
the same
basically
Tekken.
made for just people that love Tekken and nobody else. Whereas Injustice 2, for one, even Marvel vs. Capcom, they were much more accessible. They were more fun to play. I mean, I don't know. I didn't find anything in Tekken to like.
Cut it. We need to chop
Yeah,
down
it
this
sounds
list.
like it's going. Yeah.
Go
All right.
Go in.
Chris, your turn, mate.
Okay.
That was easy. I'm doing well. I've got 2 for 2, I reckon. I think.
You haven't asked me to cut one yet, apart from...
Oh, I thought you did. Have I not? Oh, sorry.
No, she countercut. So
Yeah, I counter-cut it.
Oh,
Don't
well, I mean, you can go. You can have another. There's no. I'm just literally going round and round. Yeah, go for it. I'm fighting now. What you're going to say?
Now, see, in terms of cutting, I don't know, but I have got a definite lock.
Okay, that's fine.
and that definite lock
I know
is
what you're going to say. Go on.
Destiny 2.
Oh, I don't know what you're going to say at all. That's out of left field.
I like to keep you on your toes, Adam. Keep you on your toes.
I would have sworn you were going to say Battlefront then.
No, Destiny 2 is my lock because, right, I mean, we can talk about the end game. And so, in fact, we don't even need to talk about the end game because we're talking about multiplayer here. That game is a perfect co-op game. Perfect. And I tell you what, that Crucible, oof. Those guns and the maps and everything about it, it's just, it's a joy to play online, is Destiny 2. So that's my lock, and I'll fight. That's in top 5. That's in top 5 for best multiplayer.
That's fine. Do you want to cut one, or shall I move on to Chris's cut?
I'm going to cut Snippet Clips. I don't know anything about it.
No, okay. It's good. It's a fun puzzle game, but I will admit that a lot of the fun is negated by the fact that quite soon into it you start getting a bit pissed off with each other because it requires precision. Like the idea is literally that you're both like paperclip sort of shapes, and you use that shape to cut stuff out of your co-op partner to make them a different shape, and then you have to solve puzzles by that ability. But because of that, the precision required to do some of the puzzles very quickly gets you kind of arsey with the other person. And while I think it's a lovely little game, again, it's not top 5 material. So I'm glad it's got its dues. But yeah, bye-bye Snippet Clips.
Yeah, it was one of those games which did well at the start. You know, it was one of the early games that people would buy, but beyond that, not so much. Okay.
Chris, you got a cut or a lock or anything, or?
See, I was going to suggest Snippet Clips because I've never even played it.
No, fair enough.
Do you know what? We're gonna tackle another lock, and I think this game deserves to be locked because I haven't had as much fun online as I did with this game this year.
Okay.
In terms,
can you see me on the document there highlighting which one I think he's gonna? I'm in scrap for the listeners, but this is
catchphrase. Right.
Yep.
It created its own stories in the multiplayer that you played. It was fun to play online with friends. Anything can literally happen. And it had tension, it had everything for me. And that game was PUBG.
Yeah. I thought for a minute you were going to say Mario plus Rabbids, but no. I think PUBG has to be a lock for now, definitely. Like there's no.
It's just a perfect multiplayer game because it does. It's kind of an open world to an extent. It's a great.
It's just a massive one.
It builds tension in a great way that hasn't really been done in a lot else, because when you find that when the map kind of like when that circle moves to a different part of the map and you have to get within that circle and it gradually gets smaller and smaller until like people start dying or whatnot, and then there's like 80 left, and then there's 50 left, and there's 40 left, and obviously when there's the kind of the player base shrinks, you get more nervous. And I remember me, you, and Stubbsy in that house, and we were holding it up.
Oh yeah.
And we got down quite low. Like we were in the last 20 or whatever. Then I'm sure we got to the last 10. But Stubbsy, I think got 10 or 11, shot, and then it was me and you left in that just open space, and there was someone at one end, one at another.
Oh, that's the one that we recorded, but it didn't record. Yeah.
And that was like, half an hour of a game.
Oh, that one. Yeah, we did get top 10 for that. We did. Yeah.
And that was one instance of them all, and that's why I want this Xbox One to be to kind of improve, and I'm sure it will. But
it definitely will.
I think it's excellent. It's an absolutely excellent multiplayer game.
Yeah. I mean, I totally agree. Like I say, I would. It's weird with early access stuff because part of me would be saying to people like, look, don't buy it on Xbox One yet. But at the same time, if you kind of know you're going to eventually, then you may as well buy it now. It's not going to get any cheaper. It's not going to get any more expensive. So if you got the money, you kind of may as well, which is a really weird recommendation as a critic to make. But it's like, if you want it, you're going to get it at some point, and you're going to see its journey. And at the moment, it's very much how the PC version started out. And I do think maybe people are forgetting how rough that was. But this is, I will admit, even on the X, like it is especially rough. Like, it's only the sort of pre-match area that is probably runs the worst I've seen any game run this gen for sure. But again, it doesn't really matter. That's just some stupid area to dick around in.
Yeah.
The actual game, I do think they need to tweak some controls for the Xbox. I think that was always going to be a Herculean task to transfer a game from PC that had lots of input, commands. And I think there are some really odd decisions, like there's a dedicated button on the Xbox right bumper to change from first to third person, and I think that's especially weird to give that a dedicated button when that could be something relegated to like having to press start and go in options, yet reload is on the same button as something else. So to reload your gun, you have to hold the button down, and I think that's a really strange choice. But I think it might be in keeping of the kind of the slow, the animation, like you're holding it down to reload. But again, not quite there for me. But it'll get there.
Yeah.
But everything you said, like +1. You know what I mean? Like, I totally agree. Like, it has to be, because we're not talking about game of the year. We're not.
No.
It doesn't need to be version 1.0. You can play anything, and it's great. Yeah. No. Totally agree. Agree. What? Did you cut one? I forget.
No, I'd cut Nidhogg too.
Oh, Chris, right to my heart.
No, come on, right. It's good. It is great, right? And I'm not denying that, and I did love it. But I've played so many other games this year that I've preferred better than this,
mate.
And we got to be brutal. We got to be brutal, mate.
But, like, it's difficult, that one for me, because like that's one of my favourite moments of the year in some respect. Because like we had the kids had some friends over, like a big, 4 or 5 of them, and we were all just playing Nidhogg, and I thought, they'll get bored of this in a minute, and they just like Nidhogg's one of those games like you think, he's going to thrash me, but the match goes on for 25 minutes because it's just literally a tug of war back and forth, and you only need to get one kill, and you run past them, and if I've saved it, got another kill. Now we're right back to this, and you're back to where you started. And I think Nidhogg 2 is a phenomenal multiplayer experience. Like, just it kind of encompasses everything I love about multiplayer. Like, it has got skill to it. It's got an element of luck as well, but it's also got this element that it just makes you laugh, and it makes you kind of howl with laughter. Like, you're guffawing at the absurdness of this game. I'm wounded.
I'm sorry.
That would be cut before some of these other games, man.
What would you cut over it then, Adam? Because I've got no opinion on Nidhogg at all. I've never played it.
I think you'd love it. I think it would have you cackling, like you've said before about like cackling during multiplayer. And I think this is one of those. It's so absurd and ridiculous. Like just the idea, like I've seen things in that game where like someone's punched you and you've gone over them, killed you, and they just run, and because all you got to do is get to the end of the screen, and you like that's kind of like. It's literally a tug of war. I think there's 5 screens or something like that. And I've seen that, and I've seen the person get up, pick up a sword, a fencing sword, and just hurl it in the back of their head to get the kill, and then run back the other way and they get the point. It's just the most... it's so much fun. I would happily cut... Oh, God, so many of these. I would cut Jackbox Party Pack 4, and I'm a big Jackbox fan, but I feel like maybe this is one too many in too short a time. It's good.
It's not.
It's
top
good.
5.
It's just nowhere near. Like it's just not. I mean, it's probably the 4th best Jackbox game. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've never played it, so I can't.
Me neither.
I can't.
It's
defend
good.
it.
It's good. It's just good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not good enough.
Okay.
And no one's going to defend that, right?
You were the one that was going to be championing that.
I think
anyway.
I did. Yeah. Gary, I saved Nidhogg. I saved it for one round. Gary, what do you want to cut? Nidhogg 2. Oh, for excuse me.
I don't know. I'd lock Battlefront.
Oh, Gaz! Nice work.
I am absolutely going to lose this war. I've realised now.
Oh,
See,
right, that's
like,
made me happy.
I'm not a big multiplayer person, like shooter-wise anyway. But I enjoyed it. I mean, I got the shit kicked out of me most of it, but I think a lot of it is worth it for the Starfighter Assault.
That is excellent.
It's just so much fun. And, it's kind of the closest we've got to, like, the Jedi Starfighter, but multiplayer. Yeah, I would lock that.
Okay, I mean, we each get a lock, so what would you cut? Fuck, I'm going to have to lock one next, aren't I? Because otherwise I'm going to run out of games.
Maybe Splatoon.
Oh, what have I done to you lot today? Splatoon's an odd one because that game left me cross. But as of now, they fixed most of what made me cross. Like the fact you couldn't change weapon loadout mid-lobby, after a match without going all the way to the main menu. You can. And we're not giving best multiplayer as of the time it was released. It's best multiplayer. I don't think there's a more accessible shooter on the market, and it's a weird game. Like I've never thought I'd see my wife play a game like this, and yet she didn't play a lot of it, but she played it. And this is quite fun, and that's quite high praise from someone who doesn't really play games. I just think it's tremendously accessible.
Is it top 5 though?
I haven't played Splatoon, but I think it still needs to stay.
The thing about it is some of the things they haven't fixed. Like I don't think they fixed the co-op that you can just play whenever you want, and I kind of don't want to reward a game for telling me when I can or can't play a mode. I also still think the map rotation's bad. I'm really shocked they did the same thing as the first game. 2 maps on an hour or 2 hour rotation. Like if you really enjoy, let's imagine, put this into context. Like Destiny or Battlefront, they're both good examples. Actually, PUBG's a bad example, but that's a huge map where like each time you play it, you can go wherever you want. Splatoon 2, if you were playing Battlefront 2, but you could only play 2 of the maps in the game for 2 hours, that would piss you off, right? Because if you really like a game, you want to play it, but you don't want to play the same map over and over again. And I was playing Splatoon 2 at one point, and I got the same map 5 times on the trot, because there's a 50% chance of that, because there's only 2 maps in rotation. So it's like they've added new maps, and they're adding new maps, but that doesn't matter if they're not in the rotation. And
yeah, but you've then got, like, Destiny 2 has the Trials of the Nine, I think it is, every weekend, and that's just on one map. And one game mode. I mean, I know it's
but
an
that's
event.
your choice to play it.
True.
That's what I mean. You get to choose that. If I want to play Splatoon 2 online, I get the choice of 2 maps.
Okay, but then you've got Call of Duty, where there'll be community favourite maps, and you have a vote. And you can be in a situation where you play on the same map, like 3 times in a row. And it's just so tedious.
Right.
But that's what people seem to like. They seem to like playing on the same map over and over. I mean, in Call of Duty, for goodness sakes, they had Nuketown 24/7, which was one of the most popular playlists on Black Ops and Black Ops 2. In fact, Black Ops 3 as well. I was like, for goodness sakes. And there is a pre-order bonus map, the Keratin, whatever map.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Which is only available for Season Pass and pre-order people. And that's on a 24/7 rotation, and it's super popular. I mean, I don't get it personally.
No, I don't like that at all.
But that seems to be the way
I'm
that
anti
people
that for so many reasons, though, Nick. Like, I'm anti that because unless you've got the time to play one game over and over again, that sort of shit makes it really hard to learn the maps, and it means and I don't like. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I would countercut and say Call of Duty.
Yeah. I'm happy
I don't think
for
it's
Call
a
of
bad
Duty
game
to go. I'm more than happy for that to go. I mean,
I thought that I might have a fight there.
No, I mean,
it's good, but
it's Call of Duty. I don't think it's doing anything different. I think the
honest thing is, wouldn't you rather play Modern Warfare Remastered? Given in that style, do you know what I mean? Well, that's a bit unfair on War Mode. That's a bit unfair on that. But you know what I mean?
Think the War Mode is fun. I think the War Mode has some problems, some specific Call of Duty problems, but I do think the War Mode is fun. The multiplayer is just the multiplayer, and it is. I mean, I have had some fun with it, but it's not really doing anything new. It doesn't feel special. No. It's not a game that I sit down and go, do you know what, I'm going to have a couple of games of Call of Duty, which in previous years used to be. I mean, to be honest, Infinite Warfare I didn't play.
I did not like the multiplayer. I
didn't like it at all, but there again, I was and still am, balls deep, even though I don't have any, in Titanfall 2.
Yeah, same. I mean, Titanfall 2 destroyed Infinite Warfare.
Yeah,
in that
it did.
respect.
But I'm happy for Call of Duty to go because it's not drawing me.
Same, and it used to be that game that if you knew you were going out, you could just have a quick couple of rounds, and now I just don't.
No,
I just don't have any desire to fire it up, and that's a shame. But that's where we are. Yeah.
I mean, I do fire it up, and I do have a couple of games, but mainly I jump into war rather than actually playing the multiplayer. So the standard multiplayer. I mean, so yeah, it's gone. It's gone, and it feels good. It feels good, Adam.
It does actually. It feels good, and it was that easy. I'm going to have to choose my lock then. Oh God, hedging. I'm going to lock Pez because I genuinely feel that random select mode is the best sports multiplayer game mode of it. I so wish it was online, but it's fantastic. It's again, for those who don't know, this is like you pick. I can't remember now. It's 4 different sort of variables. Like you pick a club or a nationality or a league or a team, a specific team, and your opponent does the same, and it will pick. I forget how many, like 20 or 25 random players from the pools you've selected, and it just creates some matches that are either like full of players you've never heard of or full of the absolute best players in the world, and then you get to have, again, user preference. You have rounds where you can. It's like, you remember. This might not. I'm trying to think of an example that Nicola would identify with because it's mainly a sports thing. Like when you used to play football games or something with your mates in the same room, and you'd be on the same sofa, and you had a penalty, and you'd be covering up the controller so they couldn't see which way you were taking your penalty and stuff. You know, that kind of thing. So in these rounds, you have to pick a player that you want to steal and one that you want to protect, and then there's a round, and then one you want to get rid of. And if you win, you get their player. And they get, they don't get yours. It depends on who you lock. If you lock, say, Mesut Ozil, and they pick Ozil they want, but you've locked him, he's safe. But because they picked him and didn't protect, say, Sanchez, you did pick Sanchez, you get their best player. And it's just this. And then, of course, the game itself is wonderful. Random select mode is the best thing to happen to. Like, I want to play it right now. And, like, for that respect. Plus, the added co-op, the online co-op in Pairs was wonderful. When you actually got playing with people who knew what they actually play. You get the dickheads like you get in any online game that's based on teams. You get the idiots who don't want to play as a team and just shoot all the time and make it not fun. But then you get the matches where you do get that team and you drop into that sync. And like right now, I feel like I just want to go and play it, and that's great, and that's my lock. So I'm gonna suggest as a cut. Fucking hell! I'm gonna suggest Absolver.
Yeah.
I think it's done very well to make it this far, but I just don't think it's top 5.
Yeah, that was gonna be my next one after saving it briefly before.
Yeah, it's done well.
Save it before lopping its head off.
Yeah.
But it's your, if anyone wants to counter cut or
no.
Okay, it's gone. Nick, any other games you really want to see stay on this list, or that you want to cut?
I want to get rid of For Honor.
Interesting. I thought you'd be fighting that one.
I hated it, but
did you?
Yeah, I hated it.
But you respected it.
I like what Ubisoft's trying to do with it, and I like the fact that Ubisoft have taken a risk with it. But I don't think it's very good. I think there's elements that are good, but from what I played, I mean, I didn't even play the full build. I played the beta, and I just absolutely despised it. I just felt that the mode where you had to capture points, which was the 4-player mode, it was just running around in circles. It was rubbish.
It took the Dark Souls combat to its sort of ultimate end, but I felt like in an online arena it required a little too much patience from me, and I could never find that patience. And I'd have a good match in a 1v1. And I actually think its best mode was 1v1. I wasn't keen on the big, battles. I liked the 1v1s, and I found that was quite cool. But I found people got very good at it very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll be honest. If I want to play a game like that, I play Chivalry.
Okay.
Which is, it's kind of, I know it's not quite the same, but it's a similar idea, but it's much more fun.
Chris, is there any honour left in you to fight for Honor? That was terrible. I'm sorry. I resign.
No, you tried. Well, there's 4 locks. We have to pick one of these fucking how many?
Well, no, the
9
locks
games.
are just the ones we're not going to get rid of until we've had a real
are
fight.
they?
If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not.
Had a
They're
proper
not locked in
bust-up.
yet. They're just. We're basically putting our flag in the sand and saying that's the one I'm going to fight for. But
Okay.
we've all got a 5, obviously.
I'm not as passionate about this as I am for a couple of others, so cut it.
Get in.
Okay.
I thought I was going to have to scrap you, Chris.
See, I really like what they're doing with For Honor. It just didn't quite do it for me.
Yeah, the idea is there, and I think if they do a sequel, it could be very good.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
yeah, I think the current state of it is just not very good. It's just not fun.
Yeah. Chris, your turn, mate.
Ooh.
Well, hang on. Let me ask a question. Are we all happy with Mario Kart 8 being on here, given that it is kind of a re-release?
Oh,
They did add battle mode too.
I can't.
Okay.
Love it. I love it. I can't.
Yeah, no,
see
I
it
agree
going.
with you,
Yeah, I absolutely adore it.
because they added that whole battle mode. Actually, thinking about it, like
The thing is, my love for it, as I said, I never played it on the Wii U, so this is my first time playing it. So,
yeah, that's a very fair point.
So for
Yeah.
me, I've come to Mario Kart 8 completely new, and I think it's one of the finest Mario
yeah,
Karts.
no, I agree. And it's one of those games that I've got to say it. I've actually got to say this, and I've got to actually say it seriously, and I mean it. It's perfect for the Switch.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Because I actually had, you know how the adverts for the Switch are like, oh, they're playing in the car, they're playing on the rooftops.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, my kids actually did play this in the car, like with the Joy-Con each, and they were racing, and it actually is perfect for this.
Yeah.
It is. You're
No,
right.
I have to agree with that one.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah.
Would
Can
you
I-
lock
I mean, we
that
never
then?
played it on a rooftop. But
Would anyone lock that?
I probably would actually.
I wouldn't want to see it out of the top 5. Yeah.
I'm happy for it to be locked. I've got another one that I think might upset Chris.
What, cutting?
Yeah. Ghost Recon Wildlands.
This was going to have to be a discussion we have sooner rather than later. Yeah.
I'll tell you for why, right? When it first came out, it was good fun. It was good
It was.
fun in co-op. We had a laugh with it. I think
We'll never forget the helicopter.
I think that in terms of the game was a bit of an odd one, really, wasn't it? Because it was a bit po-faced in its themes, but the actual multiplayer was a bit GTA-esque, which, of course, isn't
Yeah.
what it was supposed to be, but that's what it devolved into. That was fun. The co-op was fun. Going back to it after playing... going back to it after several months, and I went back to it to have a go at the PvP stuff. I played a bit of the sort of core co-op stuff, and it was really dull. Really dull.
I think it's fair, but I just want to say for the record, I think that game got a bit of a rotten doing at the time.
It did. I mean, I know that... I mean, Chris, you reviewed it, didn't you? I think you gave it a higher score than I would have done. I mean, I had a blast with it for, a couple of weeks. Some friends got it as well, and we had a right old time with it. But I think that it grows stale quite quickly. If you're sticking with it for a bit longer, and like what you actually have to do, taking out those various cartel heads, there's a lot of them, and ultimately you do the same thing over and over. It's just the terrain or whatever that's different. So I just don't think it's definitely not top 5, and I think we need to get rid. And the PvP was garbage, rubbish.
No, that's fair.
Boring.
I just think I just want to say I enjoyed my time playing with you guys. It was a real, I was going to say a blast. That's like a buzzword, but it was fun. It was daft. Fun. We laughed. We did some killing. It was good.
I rolled out of a moving truck.
Yeah.
And managed to grab the fella that we were supposed to do all in one smooth move.
Was that?
It was beautiful.
Oh shit! Yeah. Was it the retail version where one of us, I think it was Chris, we had a bug where he was in the car, but we couldn't.
That was Dan.
Was that Dan?
Yeah.
Where Dan's internet was playing up, and he was in the car with us, but not on our screen. So he was saying, "I'm in the car," but on our screen he wasn't. So what the game did is just put him on top of the roof running, and I think he ended up dying from that. Like it was fun, but it's got to go, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Anyone? I think it's had a good run. No, I'm not. I was going to say I'm ready to cut it, but I'm not. I'm going to forget that. Everybody's golf.
It's not gonna stay. Let's face it.
I think it could on any other year, but I just haven't played enough multiplayer to give you a number 2 sort of thing. It's
a fantastic game. It's very easy to play. It's bright, it's colourful. It's just enjoyable, and it's dead chilled out. Like the different courses are really well designed, and it's great. The caddies are really funny. I don't know. I do love it, but
I think it's got to go, and I think Mario and Rabbids has got to go, because I don't think we can have a top 5 game which just me saying I had a great time with my kids. It's not my list.
I've not played it.
And
it's on the Switch that I'm not allowed access to yet.
Still.
So I can't comment at the moment.
I do think it's a really good multiplayer co-op, but it's not. I can't pretend it's going to make top 5.
Okay, I'm happy.
Yeah.
What about golf though, Chris?
No, go. I love you, everybody's golf, but not today.
Oh my God, there's still 9 games.
Everything I've heard.
I
was going to say everything I've heard about Injustice 2 suggests to me that needs to be a lock.
I agree.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting you to be like, fuck Injustice 2.
I thought that game was cool. Like,
if you want me to do that GT Sport, get rid. Get rid. GT Sport.
No, I thought, like, apart from the fact it is an incredible game, like, I like the clan stuff in that game. I like that, I don't have to do anything, but if Gary plays 50 matches, the clan is rewarded with, like, a loot box or whatever.
Yeah.
I forget what it was now, but I think...
Yeah, that's what it was. It was like the mother boxes and stuff like that.
That's right, but I think that's a game that it could have gone, like, there, but for the grace of God, goes Injustice 2 as Battlefront 2. Like, I think there were a lot of concerns over the sort of items that affect your characters, and the worry was that could imbalance the game. I think they did a good job of it, and I think if you want to spend the whole year, or say one of the worst things of the year was Battlefront 2's everything, then I think you have to also kind of praise Injustice 2 for not creating that furore,
Yeah, well, you were constantly rewarded in Injustice 2 with these mother boxes. It wasn't like everything was locked behind it. You always getting stuff, and it was completely random as well, so it wasn't like you were guaranteed to get stuff for your favourite character.
Yeah, that's right.
That was kind of like the best way to do it.
I think... GT Sport, guys.
It's gotta
we got
go.
down to 9 games. And I have to say, as much as you do say enjoy it, I still feel like that experience is fundamentally flawed. By no online multiplayer should punish you for something that isn't your fault.
No, but then so does like football games. You get stuff like that, but I don't know. It's
but I'm talking about an offline mode. Well, and the co-op, but
yeah, I mean, I will say, it's the best online racer I've played. Like,
so what would you cut to keep it?
I don't know. I don't know whether I would keep it, because I don't think it's top 5.
Okay.
For me personally, it is. But as this, you've already pointed out, this isn't my list. It isn't any one of our lists.
We're a democracy.
I think that and Nidhogg 2 goes.
Yeah, I mean, I've not played the second Nidhogg. I only played the first, which was very good, but it's limited.
Yep. And that's the same, but there are more weapons, and the art style's different, and it's got online and stuff, and I think it's done well.
It's top 9.
Yeah,
top
I think
10
it's done
even.
well.
That'd be better than top 9, wouldn't it? Never mind.
So, with them 2 gone, then we're down to Splatoon 2, Injustice 2, PUBG, Destiny 2, Star Wars Battlefront 2, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and PES 18.
Nobody's locked Splatoon 2, though, have they? So I would say it's time for it to go.
I mean, I'm going to say this, and I think I'm losing this battle before I finish the sentence, but I think Splatoon 2 is a better multiplayer experience overall than Battlefront 2. Because I think you can't just ignore Battlefront 2's progression system and say, like, because I appreciate there are modes within it that are great, but at this point we are starting to talk about the overall experience, aren't we?
I'm actually happy for Battlefront 2 to go.
I don't. Again, I haven't actually played enough of it to say it's bad or good, but I just
it's good. It's good fun.
I just feel a bit uncomfortable with a game that the progression stuff like that being like. I feel like if we say that is even 5th best multiplayer game of the year, that's not a great statement to make.
I think it's a fun multiplayer game. I think the modes are fun. I actually have some issues with the Galactic Assault mode in that when in the first game, Walker Assault, you could actually down the Walker. I mean, I know that the whole I know that the whole game was all about downing the Walker, and like the 4 stages was all still focused on the Walker. But I have yet to see any of the initial, huge vehicle at the beginning be downed. And that's because it's so bloody difficult to, first of all, get hold of the weapon that takes the shield down on the vehicle, and then have enough firepower to actually take it down. So I kind of feel that, you're always going to get through that first section in Galactic Assault, and that kind of takes away a little bit of the purpose of it, because I know there's like 3 or 4 stages to Galactic Assault, but it's almost a guarantee that if you're attacking, you're going to get through that first phase. It's the next phases that you've got to worry about, and I just think that's a little bit imbalanced. I think that Starfighter Assault is probably the standout mode. Criterion Games have done an excellent job of the aerial battles. It's so much fun. It's probably my favourite mode next to Galactic Assault, even though I've just slagged that off. And I just think it's a fun game. There's a certain, sense of magic in it because it's Star Wars. But I genuinely don't think that it's top 5, even though I like it, and that's even without talking about the progression system, which is a big bone of contention for folk.
I mean, it's been talked to death. Let's be fair.
Yeah. I'm actually happy for it to go.
I say we kill 2 birds with 1 stone and get rid of Battlefront 2 and Splatoon 2.
Hang on, why is Splatoon 2 being dumped into that category?
Because it's still not locked.
Only because I only locked 1 game, to be fair. There's only one I picked was PES 18.
I just don't see it being above any of the others in that. What would have been that top 5?
I mean, I will say this for Splatoon 2, it's one of the only few. I mean, PUBG is a bit unfair because it's still not out officially and literally just come out on Xbox, so I had to play it to see what it was like for the site. But Splatoon 2 is one. I haven't played Injustice 2 for months. Destiny 2 I'm still trying to get into slowly but surely. I'm going to say Star Wars I didn't play much beyond that. I haven't played Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but I do agree. Recently I do agree it's a lock. PES I play on and off, but Splatoon 2 is a game I actually do go back to because it is again that wonderful kind of you pick up and play. The matches are 2 minutes long or whatever. They're done. They're dusted. The co-op's amazing when it lets you. I really like Splatoon 2. I do. The thing I would say is if we cut Star Wars Battlefront, there's still one has to go. Yep. I don't think anyone is going to be with me on Splatoon over Mario Kart. I don't think anyone's going to be with me over PUBG or Injustice 2 or Destiny 2. So I'm kind of, you might be right by hook of the fact I'm not going to get someone backing me up on it.
I'm happy for PES to go.
I bet you are. I bet you'd like that, wouldn't you? Well, you see, the argument is are we now talking about the overall experience? Because if we are, See, I don't know, because PES not only has that same overall experience, it adds to it with the co-op, it adds to it with random select. I think PES has to be in the top 5.
Okay.
Has to be. I really do. Like, that is it's probably one of the best multiplayer modes that I've played in the last years. I will cut Splatoon 2 if you guys cut Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
Done.
I'm happy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a little bit of me that's a little uneasy that PUBG is in here because it's not officially out, and also it's now full of hackers on Xbox, PS4. PS4, it's not on PS4, on PC.
But
I mean,
I
but
don't
if
know,
PUBG's in there, does it not have to win?
I don't know. It's one of those ones that I think it has to be there purely for what it's done in such a short amount of time.
I think it has to win. I think it has to win this category. It is a multiplayer-only game. I think it has to win this category.
You might be right.
Yeah, I agree.
I really do. I think it has to win.
I've not played it. And bearing in mind it's a shooty one.
I think you'd love it.
I think you would too. I think I would... I mean, again, if you buy it on Xbox, I would say don't judge it too harshly yet.
Mm.
But I do think it has to... And I think it has to win by miles. I really do.
I mean, if it gets to anywhere as near as good as the PC version, which I think it will in time,
well, if they can get the controls right, Gaz, the Xbox version could be the best place to play because they can police the hacking better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and I know most of that's top level stuff on the higher end of the leaderboards, but it isn't the sort of thing that happens. You know, on Xbox 360, you get a games and like there's people still playing Black Ops and hacking the shit out of them. But in terms of current gen Xbox One people, you can't hack those consoles. You can't. I genuinely think it has to win by some distance. I really do.
I
think it has to go there. And I think I'm going to fuck it with it. We're here. We're doing this. I also think Mario Kart has to be number 2.
Yeah. I'm happy.
Because it is the ultimate. It's just everything.
It's glorious.
It's almost the case in point for a Switch. Like, you can just whip those things off and play 2-player. You can connect it to your phone and play 3G, via 4G or whatever. You can play multiplayer online. It's again the ultimate pick up and play.
Personally, I would say if you swap Injustice 2 and Mario Kart, that's the top 5 I'd have.
I wouldn't be against that.
You'd have Destiny above Injustice, Gaz?
I would, just for the overall experience, because as much as I love Injustice 2 and the multiplayer is fantastic,
I would maybe say that I think Injustice should be number 5 and I think PES should be above it.
Yeah.
I'm actually happy that Injustice 2 is in the top 5, so...
I can tell.
That's this kind of makes...
And I think you were overjoyed that Nicola was the one to suggest it. I was going to say. You were overjoyed that the person who suggested it was Nicola, and I bet you thought she was going to be the one to cut it.
I did.
I mean, if I were to do this then, this is terrible for the listeners again, but we have to, I've already warned people, this is the way it's going to go. Oh, don't have a 6th. If I were to do that, then that for the listener is 5th Injustice 2, 4th PES, 3rd Destiny 2, 2nd Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and 1st PUBG. How would people feel about that?
I'm happy with
Sexy.
that.
Yep.
The only one I feel really strongly about and that I've actually played is Destiny 2, and I think 3rd is about right for that.
Can you explain to us why that is so good? Because I have issues with Destiny's multiplayer. I don't like the Crucible, but that's just my opinion. Like, can you, as an overall package, it warrants being above PES? Do you know what I mean? Like
the
something like that.
In it is amazing.
That's true.
It's an online shooter, and it's just glorious.
Okay.
It's kind of what Halo used to be.
It is.
Yeah.
The guns are amazing. They all handle brilliantly. It's sublime. As a shooter,
I mean, the Crucible is one of those things that you either get it or you don't, as well, isn't it?
The Crucible,
you like it or you don't.
I love Shax, the announcer. He's such a fantastic cheerleader. It's smooth to load into. The guns are amazing. The shooting's glorious. The movement of your character's amazing. The maps are great.
Okay.
It's brilliant.
Okay.
It's brilliant.
I just wanted.
There's other
like
conversations around Destiny 2, but as a multiplayer game, It's superb.
It felt like it was the only one we hadn't sort of dwelled very much on, and I feel like if we're going to have it number 3, and you've done that, so that everyone's happy. We can lock that list of
Yeah.
Right, best multiplayer then. 5th place, Injustice 2. 4th, PES 2018. 3rd, Destiny 2. 2nd, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and 1st place, I mean, kind of was a given. Best multiplayer, PUBG. Best visuals is the next category, and the last one for today, and I'm going to rack it through this list. Then get Breath of the Wild, Zelda, obviously. Horizon Zero Dawn, Rime, Pyre, ARMS, Splatoon 2, Tokyo 42, Hollow Knight, Aero, Personal, Persona 5, Night in the Woods, Last Days of June, GT Sport, Battle Chasers, Hob, Forza Horizon 7, Star Wars Battlefront 2, Uncharted The Lost Legacy, Injustice 2, Cuphead, Assassin's Creed Origins. Now I'm going to start, and I'm going to say that Cuphead is 100% a lock.
I'd agree. It's
best visuals, like, come
so
on,
unique. Yeah, I'm happy with that.
I'm also going to shout the first cut, and this is a bit low-hanging fruit, but I'm going to go for Battle Chasers, because I think you mentioned that the other day, and I can't remember what it is again.
Yeah, it's... I mean, I think, like, its art style alone is gorgeous. It's Joe Mad, and it looks like, you know, like the 2D art that they did for Darksiders. It looks like that at all times. But, again, it's one of those ones that I put in the list, and I wanted it to just get its moment. Just that thing of people just need to give it a look, give it a try. But it's not going to be a top 5 kind of thing, so I'd agree with cutting it.
I'm on fire. I'm going for you, Gary, after your disgraceful attacking. There's no other way of putting it. Attacking of my favourite games. Let's go the other way around this time. Nicola, anything you want to lock or cut?
Oh, it's got to be Horizon Zero Dawn is a lock.
Yep.
That game.
I didn't want to say it because I felt like, you know,
beautiful game.
That game should be the one that game should be in demo kiosks for PS4 Pros and HDR
stunning.
tellies.
It is like gorgeous.
Holy shit! Like,
yeah.
There's not many games that get me interested in photo mode.
Oh God,
but like it did it.
I'm gonna fall over. It's so good. It's so pretty.
I mean, I am not joking when I say this. Right now, one of the screenshots I took is my desktop wallpaper. That's how good looking that game is. I'm really funny about that.
I'm just going to throw a spanner in the works a bit here. There's a game missing from this for best visuals, and that's Hellblade. Senua's Sacrifice.
Yes!
I forgot about
that. Yeah, I've just realised
Nick, you set him off. What have you done?
No, that is that game is gorgeous. What would I get rid of now?
I think you should cut 2 because you've added 1.
Okay, right. What am I going to get rid of?
I've
got a bit of a problem with this game. ARMS, it's got to go. Everything about it annoys me. I've never played it. It just winds me up.
I feel like every turn I defend ARMS and then go, yeah, all right. So I'm just going to go, yeah, all right. Because I feel like I think on at least 2 of the 3 days so far I've gone, but the thing about ARMS is, and then I've gone, actually, yeah, cut it. And I just, it's fun to look at. It's quite creative, but like it does nothing for me. So, sure.
Yeah,
fine.
Get rid.
Yep, fine. That would be Gary's turn next then. Gary.
Hang on.
I'm going to go in
I'm going
early.
in reverse orders. I'm going in reverse way with some.
I'm going to go in early and lock
You just want to get one. Oh, mate.
I mean, the animation, the facial animation on that is second to none.
I don't think it's a bad looking game, but there's, I reckon,
gorgeous.
7 games that are better looking.
Now, it depends. Are we talking about best visuals in just like art direction or like stunning visuals? Because
I mean, it's all of that, isn't it? Like, really,
the character models on Injustice 2 are some of the best I've ever seen, and like the facial animation is perfect.
I mean, there are certainly games I would feel happier cutting this stage, but like, I mean, we'll come back to that. That's fine. What do you want to cut then? God, there was some good-looking games this year. Look at that list. Holy shit, this should be a top 20.
I'm good. I'm just gonna go for it and go just GT Sport.
Yes, Gary.
It's gorgeous, but it's cars. You know what I mean? It's like, it's still cars.
It's such an
going on.
unfair thing. It's like there are developers of car games listen to this going, you absolute piece of shit. Like they spent years like modelling the rims of those vehicles. And like I couldn't do it, but it's weird because like the same thing of Forza Horizon 7, right? Like that game made me feel motion sick when I played it in 4K, like with the HDR and everything. Because the sky, I had to call my wife and go, "Look at that!" And she's like, "What?" I was like, look at the sky. And she's like, "Oh Jesus Christ!" It's photoreal sky, but it's just cars.
Yeah.
I mean, do you want to cut Forza while we're here then? Or...
I would, because again, both that and GT Sport are like, you know, top of their field kind of thing. You know, and they are.
I think Forza's
but. I mean, if you're gonna go for like a Forza for visuals, it's Forza Horizon 3.
Okay, it's gone. It's gone.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. I thought I'd have to fight you to get rid of them because I feel bad because they are so good looking. Like, there's a reason Microsoft and there's a reason every console manufacturer shows off their new visuals with a racing game. You know.
Yeah.
But I think a game like Cuphead or a game like Horizon Zero Dawn isn't just, wow, it looks amazing. It also is artistically interesting.
Yeah.
Chris, your turn, mate.
Hellblade.
What is the lock?
Yep, absolutely.
It wasn't even on the fucking list at the start.
Yeah, all right. Well, I've forgotten about it.
Yeah. Memorable, isn't it?
No, I was thinking of Hellblade earlier for some moments in Hellblade, and one of the moments kind of locks into the visuals, and I don't know if, because I really don't want to ruin this, but there's a moment where you're walking through this, and I remember telling you about it, walking through this, like, between these two walls, but the walls were made up of these people, like these arms and these bodies just contorted and screaming, and it was like walking through hell, literally, and it was just incredible, and it was just, I've never seen anything like it. And throughout the game, not just Senua herself, but just the way it goes with certain parts of the like there's this there's very few bosses in it, but the second one's like this flamed, like, huge giant, this beast thing that you're fighting. That whole scene setup is just incredible.
Yeah.
Like, I've never seen anything like it. Like, it's just stunning. And
what are you cutting though? Sorry. Go on, go on.
No, don't. And then just like kind of the last segment of the game is just mind blowing. So, but there's quite about 5 games I could cut right now.
Go for it, mate. Go for it then. There's no reason you have to only cut one at a time. Go for it.
Okay. Just in terms of there's many
You're going to say
games
Splatoon 2, aren't you? Like,
no,
just
I wasn't.
say it.
No, I wasn't.
Okay.
I wasn't going to.
You can. I wouldn't disagree.
No, I wasn't going to pick. I was going to cut Aero.
Yep.
Straight off. I'd cut Tokyo 42.
Hang on a moment, sir. Sir, I believe my glove is off and facing your direction. I demand satisfaction. Really? That quickly?
Yeah. Mate, I'd cut. I mean, Night in the Woods could go. Last Days of June could go.
Chris!
Yeah, mate.
Chris White! Goodness me.
There's so many better looking games on this list. And
I'm Night in the
getting
Woods.
to the
That's
point. I'm being brutal now. I'm gonna have to be brutal. Like,
You're being hurtful, quite frankly.
Well, if that's what I need to be, then come on.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah, I'm going there.
God, I've had one heart attack. There's no need to. Goodness me! I just I noticed that your beloved Rhyme has stayed away from your cutting remarks.
So you don't go near that.
I mean, the thing is, right? There's a couple of games, in all seriousness, like Rhyme, Hollow Knight, Hob, and possibly Tokyo 42 that are all kind of lumped into a very similar category for me in terms of the way they look. Tokyo 42 stands out because it is just magnificent looking, but like Rhyme, Hollow Knight, and Hob all kind of have similar looks in their own field. And I feel like if you're going to cut one, then you kind of got to cut all 3. Like Hollow Knight's a gorgeous game. It's got a look. Yeah. It does well. Rhyme, I think, is watercolor like, but like it's not. It doesn't touch a game like Breath of the Wild. I don't think. Yeah. And I think Night in the Woods is a better example of that style in terms of visuals. Last Days of June is a better in terms of that style. But I mean,
I'm happy to cut all of them.
A minute ago you said don't touch Rhyme.
No, not Rhyme. Like the
Oh,
other one.
Chris, come on.
But no, look, if we're defending passionately, I wouldn't defend Rhyme passionately because of the visuals. It'd be more the story and the kind of end game and the experience. But we don't have a award for best experience, so I'm fine to cut it as long as because Persona 5.
Yeah, yeah. So hang on.
So yeah.
Are we cutting Hollow Knight?
Yeah.
Not
Anyone
played
want to
it.
defend Hollow Knight?
I think I know what it looks like, but I've not played it, so I can't. I'm not going to.
We can talk about it next year when the Switch version comes out that it's perfect on.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Hollow
a
Knight-
nice
Hollow
looking
Knight-
game.
I
but
mean,
don't play it.
out of this list, I think there are stronger games
Big time.
there than Hollow Knight.
I do want to point out that, like, so Rhyme, Tokyo 42, Hollow Knight, Night in the Woods, Last Days of June, Hob. There are, 5 or 6 games there that are all independent games. And I think that kind of suggests that they might... Whereas Horizon is essentially a realistic-looking game in a way.
Yeah.
Hellblade the same. Injustice 2 the same. These are striving for something different.
I
And don't
really
think that
like
means,
Night in the
you
Woods
know-
the way that looks, though. I think that
I'm
needs
surprised
to stay
Chris
for
went for
now.
that.
I think that needs
Yeah,
to stay for now.
I would agree with you, but I think Hollow Knight needs to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Rhyme and Hob need to go, although I think both are very nice looking.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I'm not sure if I want Hop to go yet.
I mean, if Hob doesn't go, Rhyme's got to stay because they are very similar styles. And then we're screwed, basically.
Because I'd have Hob above Battlefront 2.
I think Battlefront 2 is an interesting one because this is the most shittiest argument to make, but someone was going to at some point. They kind of had a lot to work from. Like, it's beautiful, but it isn't original. And I'm not saying it has to be original, but I'm saying I feel like to be one of the best, there has to be, I don't know, just
I
more.
think visually Battlefront 2 is outstanding.
Yeah.
But it's not just that. There's a lot of extra stuff going on in the maps, which I find really interesting. Like in Feed, on the map in Feed, you can be running around the streets and like flocks of birds will just take, a light from the ground, and there's lots of extra detail in Battlefront 2. It's not just like, oh my god, that stormtrooper just looks totally like a stormtrooper. I don't think it's just down to that. I think there's lots of other stuff going on that I think we need to talk about a little bit.
Well, hang on. Right, so we're all over the place a bit here. Chris, Rhyme, I think it's down to you, mate, because I don't think Inoris is going to back it. It's up to you if you want to fight that one or you are happy to see it go.
I'm happy to cut it.
Yeah, if Chris is happy to cut Rhyme, then I'll say cut Hob.
Okay, I do want to just say shout out to Hob. Like, that developer's been shut down now, and that was a really good game.
Oh,
so.
really?
Cool.
That's upsetting.
Yeah, and it's a bloody good game.
It is.
It's an absolute stunner. But,
I was genuinely prepared for someone to say cut Splatoon 2 and I wasn't even going to fight. So,
Well, that was going to be my next one.
yeah, like, it's a really good looking game, but I don't think it's quite up there with some of, I mean, even, I feel like certainly some stronger games here, so I'm going to cut that unless anyone has a problem with that.
Nope.
Well, I mean, I'm going to suggest Breath of the Wild's a lock.
Yeah.
I think surprising no one. Like, I think
it's a beautiful game.
it's just beautiful. Like, it's breathtaking. I'm going to stop that now. I don't know why that's become my thing all of a sudden on this podcast, but I'm going to stop that now. So I want to talk to you guys about Assassin's Creed Origins.
Oh, that's got to stay. I'm sorry. That has got to stay.
So I started it. And all I've heard from people is how it's a great game and stay with it. I was surprised because I thought it was going to look better. Not to say that it looks bad, but that with even there's 5 games that we've locked already, and I don't think I mean, Justice 2, whatever. We've got 2 people. I think Chris is back in that too. I don't think Origins is as good looking as the other 4. Even if I don't think it's as good looking as Hellblade. Horizon, I don't think it's as good looking as Breath of the Wild.
I have to disagree. I think that is a gorgeous game.
Compared to those 4, it's as good as I'm playing it on Xbox One X, so I was expecting like astonishment, and
oh come
I
on!
didn't get that. No, I really didn't.
Come on!
Nicola's screenshots have been pretty impressive. I know it's
but screenshots aren't the
different.
game in motion, are they? Like you can affect things like in Horizon. The ones I took, just for the record, if anyone saw them, there were no visual effects on them. They were just movement of the camera. That's why that game blew me away so much, because there's no point did I go into the photo mode and have to like fiddle around with stuff. It was just like, that's the game. And that impressed me. Now, maybe Assassin's Creed Origins gets better. I can't.
Where are you at?
I'm an hour in.
Are you still
I'm not
at
going to lie.
Siwa?
Yeah.
No.
I didn't like it. I'll be honest with you. I will go back to it in the new year, but I tried to play it because I felt like I should, and I don't want to play that game right now. It's not the game's fault. I just don't have a game that big in me right now. The combat seemed interesting though. I will say, but that's not that's for another category. But
I'm not letting you cut Assassin's Creed Origins. I'm sorry. No chance.
Okay.
No chance.
So what would you cut instead?
Persona 5, possibly.
Whoa!
It's a bit quirky, isn't it? Persona 5.
I mean, that game's got the best style of any game on this list.
I suppose it's stylish. Maybe not. Tokyo 42.
I mean,
what's
even
that?
the menus.
What's that? What's Tokyo 42?
I don't know how to describe that game.
It's
an
Blade Runner
isometric.
meets Faz.
Yeah, okay. But like, it's so clean and beautiful.
No, it is.
It's got that
it is
low poly thing going on.
Yeah, it's a good-looking game, but
But to be fair, you were going to cut it, so I can't really defend it too much.
yeah, but when you compare it to over
Yeah.
half this list,
No,
then, yeah.
okay. Yep. Okay. Yeah, okay, it's gone. Fair enough. Gary. Anyone. Just anyone want to cut anything or...
I'd say Uncharted has to stay. Because that is a very pretty game.
Yeah,
But, I mean,
it's tough.
I'm not as big a fan of Persona's style as everyone else. I don't think
even the
it's-
menus. Even the
it's-
menus have got
it's
style.
It's not that unique, though. It's been done before by...
Yeah, by other Persona games. Like...
I
don't know that it has.
I don't think it's top 5. Because, I mean, I couldn't put it anywhere near something like Horizon or Zelda.
No, but that doesn't mean it's not top 5. I mean, those two are like contenders.
But I mean, even I couldn't put it near Uncharted, even which.
I mean, of the 5 we've got, Persona 5 I would have above. Yeah, any of the ones that aren't locked there, any of them, and that's including Last Days of June, which I think is beautiful. Because I think Uncharted is. I think it would be a lock, but let's not forget that was kind of originally DLC, and so. Also, there's the main open world section really is. I can't remember if it's in Madagascar, but it certainly feels very similar to. Like, it doesn't feel particularly original, that part.
I think it was Madagascar. I can't actually remember.
It's a beautiful game. Like, it is stunning, but like a game like Persona, or I will concede Hellblade does this, or Horizon, or Legend of Zelda. Like Cuphead, especially, really captures your imagination. I feel like when you look at it, it's the same thing I have with Assassin's Creed Origins. Like, I don't think it's a bad looking game. I just don't feel like it captured my imagination from what I played of it in the way that Breath of the Wild does. Because Horizon does that kind of semi-real world, but then the stuff that captures you is the way the machines are built, the way that each biodome is different, and like you can go from, and it will suddenly go from snow to sunlight, and you're just blown away by it every time. 50 hours in that game, and every time I'm like, wow, this game just does not stop blowing me away. Like, every time the biome would change from snow to sun, or do you know what, the rain in Horizon, like every time anything would happen weather-wise, it would blow me away over and over again. And I don't know, like, Origins didn't do that for me. Uncharted didn't do that for me. Like, they're very good-looking games, but they don't... I don't think they're memorable in the way that a Horizon is. In that, even let's say Hellblade, not the biggest fan of the game, but I will concede it's certainly a memorable game to look at. You know? I mean, Pyre we haven't mentioned.
Pyre. It's a very lovely design game, but is it top 5? No,
I don't think so. It's too much time spent in text.
Not for me. I think visually there's so much happening in Breath of the Wild all at the same time. You could spend like a minute in the map doing whatever you do in that minute. You will have witnessed so many different sights, different quirks to wherever you are, the way the grass moves, the way the sun shines, the wildlife flying through the air, or the glistening on a lake. It just has a fantastic style to it. And again, like you're saying about Horizon, there's you move into a different part of the map and it changes completely, and it's just stunning, like absolutely gorgeous. And again, for me, Hellblade, they did something fantastic for what budget they had. It's incredible.
I honestly feel, Chris, with the list we've got the locks there, so Breath of the Wild, Horizon, Hellblade,
I think so.
Injustice and Cuphead, I honestly feel, take Injustice out of that, put Persona 5 in its place, and I think that top 5 is the top 5. Not in that order necessarily, but I honestly think that's the top 5.
You're making me hate you here, Adam.
But I just think they're so memorable, and they're so... They just capture you, and I think that's... Given that two of those are like open world games, that's some statement that an open world game can be considered best visual. Because in days gone by, open world games like, but that bit looks rough and that bit looks rough, and that's fair enough because it's such a big game. And yet there's two of them that are like, just nail it.
I have to agree.
I can't handle the fact that Assassin's Creed Origins isn't in the top 5. I can't handle that.
We've cut Pyre, right?
I think it's a stunning game.
I'm not saying it's ugly. I just don't think it's memorable or captures you the way some of these others do. Like, it's difficult with Persona 5 if you haven't played it. That is a difficult thing, but that game has more style than any game I've ever played. I
think it does capture, though. I mean, one of the major reasons why I really like Assassin's Creed Origins is because of that world. I want to explore it. Because it looks so interesting. I'm fascinated by it. There's so much detail in it. It's fantastic. I'm actually shocked that you don't think it looks any good. Genuinely shocked.
I think, honestly, coming off of Horizon Zero Dawn, do you know what I mean? Like, that game is next level.
Well, it's
I really
different.
do.
I think not the fidelity necessarily of the visuals. I think there's a softer look to the visuals than there is to Horizon.
It's a very Ubisoft look.
Yeah.
Like, the first thing that I immediately saw playing Assassin's Creed was like, oh, these character models. Bayek doesn't look like Aloy, does he? And that really... And I'm not saying it's bad, but like having played Horizon Zero Dawn so recently... Like that, I just was really taken aback by them.
I've played them alongside each other, and I'd still say Assassin's Creed Origins is one of the best looking games I've played this year. Absolutely, I think it's a stunning game. And
I can only wonder if it's the PS4 Pro though. You know that it's a first party single platform game.
Maybe.
And it was I played it on the Pro, whereas Assassin's Creed should look good because it's on the X. But do you know what I mean? I wonder if that's why you and I are feeling differently about it.
Maybe. There's so much detail in it, though. I mean, Chris, I'm sure will back me up in this. Just so much visual detail. Like some of the screenshots I've taken have been of just like little totems that people have left at shrines, and there's so much work gone into that game that if it's not top 5, I'm flipping this table that I'm at now. It's flipped.
Well, if Chris can give you, if Chris or Gary can back you up, there's no reason we can't lock it in for the final sort of discussion.
I can only really go off like Nick's screens and stuff. So
I'm just really surprised Injustice is in here as a lock above Persona 5, above Night in the Woods.
I'm going to speak up here. So, I would say that obviously the top 3 definite locks. So Zelda, Horizon, Hellblade, definite. I would also say Persona 5 should be a definite. And I'm gonna relegate a game here, and I probably am going to put Assassin's Creed in the 5 because when I played it, it was stunning, and it's a world that's been so intricately designed for different cities to look completely different, and there's no kind of repetition in any part of the world. Every place feels different, and I remember saying on the pod the couple of days ago when we were talking about Assassin's Creed about how there was those pots that kind of had incense flowing from, like coming from them. It was for like a burial, and it was such a small detail. Didn't need to be in there, but that would have been researched by somebody. That would have been drawn up. That would have been down to a T. That specific ritual or whatever it was. That one detail in a game so vast is just a fragment of why it looks so good throughout, and it never kind of diminishes. It's just everything about it. The visuals, the detail in the people you meet. Like there's marketplaces where they're all talking and interacting. There's just randoms walking through the street. There's all the wildlife. You're walking through one of the towns and there's a high kind of concentration of flamingos and herons and all that. They're just flying around. And then you go into like the kind of the deserty, like the rock kind of places where there's like jackals and hyenas or whatever they are. And
see, I'm in a place at the moment in Assassin's Creed where it's like salt structures, not salt flats, but
yeah, I kind of know what you mean.
Where all of the salt that the Egyptians were using for their embalming techniques is coming from there, but also in that area is where I presume in real ancient times they were doing like dyeing of fabrics, and there's the pools of dye in this village. It's such a detailed world that I think it absolutely has to be top 5.
Okay, so look, are we gonna? Are we cutting Last Days of June? Are we cutting Night in the Woods? Are we cutting Star Wars Battlefront? And are we cutting Uncharted: The Lost Legacy? Because even with those cut, we still have 7 games.
Yeah.
It pains me to cut Night in the Woods because I think the one thing it does beautifully is art. But
I think that I'm genuinely surprised that Injustice 2's here.
So am I.
It's still in here.
But even if we cut that, there's still 6. So I mean, I want to know if these 4 are going, and then we can really get into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, come.
Gaz, there's games you like in here.
No,
sure.
Okay. Yeah.
Nicola.
I mean, I like Night in the Woods art style. I think it's quirky. I think it's very interesting to look at. I've not played and I've not seen Last Days of June. I think Star Wars Battlefront 2 is a very beautiful game. I mean, but I think there's stronger visuals, stronger games there.
Yeah.
And Uncharted, I kind of feel a little bit like, well, of course it's good looking.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because it's Uncharted,
I do,
and Uncharted's always good looking. So I feel a bit bored by the fact that Uncharted's there.
No, I know what you
I
mean.
know that sounds really bad, and that's not really fair to Uncharted and Naughty Dog and the work that they've done, but it kind of feels like it's there because, well, of course, Uncharted's known for being good looking.
I will say also Night in the Woods, I feel happier cutting that because the amount of times you have to run past the same town, which, it's part of the game, but like you do get a bit like, I wish I could just skip to the other end of town.
Yeah.
So we have 7 games here. We have The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, we have Horizon Zero Dawn, Hellblade, Persona 5, Injustice 2, Cuphead, and Assassin's Creed Origins.
So I'm going to say, like, I know we're going to cut Injustice, but I just have to say that its character models are better than any of the other games there.
Not to be unfair on it though, Gaz, and this is unfair on it, but that's the only way I've got of rationalising this. I think it has to do a bit less than all of these other games. Like, it is an enclosed, bigger than usual, but it is still a 2D fighting game enclosed within, again, beautifully designed and well done.
But don't you think that's kind of punishing it, though? Just because it's not an open world game.
I mean, only as much as we just punished Uncharted for saying, but it's Uncharted.
But will we be saying that when Last of Us 2 comes along?
But that's not... About best visuals, I can't answer that.
It
I can't answer that.
I'm just going to apologise now because apparently Santa's going past my fucking house. So
That's
if you
fine.
hear that...
at least it proves we did this in December. But like, also, The Last of Us has more room to... Because it's not in a real world. It has more room to create characters and stuff. So I would be disappointed if they didn't do something cool with that game.
Okay.
I mean, Chris is the only other one I can imagine. I love Injustice 2 because I love me fighters, but I can't see it in the top 5 where we've already got 7.
I think I'm the only one that's fighting for it, to be honest. Like, I know Chris loves it as well, but I don't think he's as fussed about this as some of the others on this list.
I completely agree with the character models. I think they are excellent. However, there are 5 better games on this list for me in terms of what I would perceive as better visuals.
I mean, I would say that does it, doesn't it? That's it gone.
Yeah, you cut it.
So then, where are we? Because
I still don't think Persona 5 deserves to be on that compared to some of the other stuff that's there.
Just amused at Santa.
Yeah, you want to tell him he's early, mate? It's not. I'm going to say this.
Chris is not going to like me here. I think Hellblade looks great.
I agree.
I think it looks great, but I don't think it's top 5.
I agree.
I think it's got to go. I think if we were talking about audio design and not visuals, I would be fighting tooth and nail to keep Hellblade in because the audio on that game is insane and is really unnerving playing that game with the audio. But visually, I think we've got stronger games for top 5.
I mean, I think I've made my position on Assassin's Creed clear, but I think if that is definitely going to stay in, even if it squeaks 5th, I think Hellblade's the one to go. And I say that because I don't think a soul is going to argue on Breath of the Wild. I don't think anyone's going to argue Horizon. I don't think anyone can argue Cuphead, not with a straight face. And Persona 5 just, out of all these games, just has such style. Like, it is just cool as fuck.
Yeah, I think Hellblade's got to be sacrificed because I ain't shifting on Assassin's Creed. I'm sorry.
And it needs 2 people to keep it on the list, so it's down to you, Chris. He's dead. We've killed him.
Judas.
I'm sorry, Chris. I apologise, but I think that it's strong. It's definitely.
Wait, hang on. Was he saying he's a Judas and he's going to cut Assassin's Creed? He wasn't, was he?
No.
He wasn't.
Look, I disagree 100% about cutting Hellblade. However, I do appreciate a democracy. And if everyone else wants to cut it, then it has to go. But
I mean, if you want to keep it, Chris.
Well, I want to keep it, mate.
Persona 5 might be the one you try and cut because Nick's not going to support that.
I can't because Persona 5 is absolutely perfect.
Yep.
It's just not just in the style, but in the kind of game, the moment to moment in game. Like,
I mean, it's got that monster that's basically a big penis.
Yeah,
I've seen a picture of that as well. Yeah, I was like,
I mean, how can you not have that?
Yeah. It's a cracking game. So
Oh shit.
No, you can't add anything now.
Shit.
No, you can't. You can't.
Shit. No, I have to say the name of it. I don't think it would make top 5, but I have to say its name. Super Mario Odyssey.
Oh. Honourable mention.
I don't think it would quite make the top 5 out of this. Well, this top 6 at the moment. But I don't think it would it?
No. But it is a lovely looking game.
Okay. I mean, it's not to be brutally blunt, but at the moment it sounds like, given the chat coming from all four parties here, it's between Assassin's Creed and Hellblade for fifth.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I've not had to defend Cuphead. Am I with? Is everyone just with me that that's a shoo-in?
No. I don't know anymore. I've been blindsided. Been blindsided.
Sorry, Chris.
So I don't know. I wouldn't cut Hellblade or Assassin's Creed.
So what would you cut? You can't have a top six.
I know. Oh man, see,
it's been a good year.
No, I don't know, because I don't want to say. I think Cuphead's gorgeous, but then if I'm choosing between Cuphead and Assassin's Creed, I'm going for Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, but hang on, Cuphead also. It's not just the 30-style art style.
Cuphead, but then.
But it's not just the art style of Cuphead, though, is it?
It just looks amazing. So
it's also the way the enemies they've designed, like the bosses, they contort and change. They each, like, for example, there's an enemy that every time it attacks you, it's a different star sign. Like, even the variation within the enemies, the creativity of the enemies.
I think Cuphead's too unique to cut.
Thank you. Thank God for that. I was scared for a minute.
No, it's too unique to cut.
I think I'd have to agree on that.
It's down to you, Chris. I mean, unless I'm wrong, it basically you have to pick one of the Hellblade or Origins.
Well, I'm not cutting Hellblade.
But Nick is.
But I think Hellblade's going to go because I think as a unit we are.
Yeah, I think so
aiming
too.
towards Hellblade.
Yep.
Yeah, I
think we are. Sorry, mate.
Really argue it either way.
These are the trials and tribulations of Game of the Year deliberations. That's a wrap. That was a wrap. That was wow. The trials and tribulations of game deliberation. Oh, mate, that's light in the mood. Hellblade's gone then. So, where does that leave us then?
Casually just ripped out his heart and moved on.
I'm so sorry, Chris, but I definitely will fight tooth and nail Hellblade for best audio.
No, that's cool, Nick. I'll remember that.
I'll fight it for best audio. I think Horizon's got to go number one. I mean, I haven't played Zelda. I've seen pictures of Zelda. It looks gorgeous. Horizon just blew me away.
I could flip a coin, but I have to say, whether it's because I waited to play it after it had been patched umpteen times.
Sort of put a pin in that and go for the other three.
Okay, well, what would you suggest, Gaz, for the other three?
Later. Cuphead, definitely number 3, I think.
Oh, number 3, okay. All right, we'll see how it looks there.
But I mean, my thoughts on the other two are mostly just of other people's stuff because I've not played either of them, so I don't know.
I'll be honest. Again, I feel like 4th and 5th here is down to Chris because he reviewed Origins. Nicola has very much said how she feels about Origins. I have also said I feel about the opposite of oranges, bloody hell, Origins. And I've also said how I feel about Persona 5, and with Chris, it's the kind of deciding factor in them two, I feel. If he even indeed agrees that Cuphead is 3rd, do you know what I mean?
No one listens to me anyway.
Chris.
Chris, he's lost it. He's lost it. Can we say?
I'm reaching for the bottle.
I feel like there'd be like puppy dog eyes if we could see him.
Business is business. I'm back on it. Right. Okay. I think Persona 5 has to be above Origins. It's just so sexy. But I would make love to it if it was a human being.
That's an image. But do you agree with gently? Do you agree with Gary's position of Cuphead above both?
No, I'd pick Persona above Cuphead. I'd go Persona, Cuphead, Assassin's Creed, and just for the record, I'd pick Zelda above Horizon.
Yes.
Oh shit! Because I'm actually going to have to Judas you and say I think Horizon.
Oh, we're at deadlock.
So hang on.
So putting a pin in it.
Well, no, because
the pin's falling out.
So is that bottom 3, which sounds weird, the 3 through 5, is that... I mean, I feel strongly that Assassin's Creed is right, and I think given that Chris is agreeing that, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Cuphead and Persona 5, are we feeling that's right? I don't actually mind.
I'm a bit with Gary in that Persona 5, I'm not sure I like the art style. I've not played it, so I don't know what it's like to play, but I'm not sure, poetry. Like, looking at it, I like it as much as Cuphead. But, I mean, I'm not going to argue that
I think I agree with you. I think I agree with the Cuphead is better looking, better visuals, because there's less of it, if you know what I mean. Like, there are dungeons in Persona that are longer than Cuphead, you know? And I would feel...
Here we go again. Fucking hell.
I don't feel strongly about it, though. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
I love both those games. I love both those games dearly. Like,
I mean, I'll defer to the guys who've actually played Persona 5.
I
if you
think we should
feel
give
it's
Chris...
the middle of the table jobber, then...
Yeah, I'm happy to...
I think we should give that to Chris for how we ripped his heart out.
Don't give it to me because you feel sorry. You don't feel sorry for me, do you? Because I don't want pity.
Well, in that case, I do think Cuphead's better looking then. Sorry.
Well, I don't think it is.
Okay,
so
well,
I
then
think you should give me the pity.
Okay, I'll give you the pity. Jesus Christ, you flip-flop there, mate. That was some flip-flop.
It's my emotions. They're all over the place.
This is such a cop-out, right? I almost feel I have to take myself out of this last one because I don't think I can decide. Because I can think of... I could go with Chris and go, I think Breath of the Wild is better looking, and I think of like moments where you set a fire to a forest or something, or when you're gliding off the top of a mountain and you're just going across swathes of the land, and then I think, it's better, and then I think, shit, yeah, but then remember that time you were walking through the forest and the HDR lighting on the Pro bloomed through, and then it suddenly, a torrential downpour came, and then there's that bit when you swing off of a tall neck, and I think there's nothing in it.
You've got me thinking about that a bit more. There were some moments where I took screenshots myself when the light was filtering through, like that twilight.
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. Exactly it. And the sun's dropping or coming up, and
shit, that's made it so much more difficult.
And then there's those moments where it suddenly starts raining, and you're like, "This is a game." And not that there's a moment of Zelda where I was like, but with Horizon, it's like every moment, like the bit when you climb. I don't want to get too spoilery now, but where you climb way up in one of those story missions, like way, way up, and then she zip lines all the way down, and she goes, "Oh, I could do that again if it wasn't such a tall climb." And there's not a single moment in that game where I wasn't just like, "Fucking hell!" And by the end, they'd even fixed the lip syncing, which was a bit of a problem at first. Like, they've patched that now. That game even... I don't know. I think I fall on Horizon Zero Dawn's side.
It's my number one.
Yeah, I think I agree.
I'm not like passionate enough to defend Zelda. Like, Horizon's so beautiful. So I'm happy for it to be first. I think it's glorious.
There's just no moment where you're not like, fuck, you know? And I feel like if anyone's umming and ahhing about, should I upgrade to a Pro? Play this game, because it doesn't just make an excuse. It doesn't just make an example of why you should get a Pro. It actually makes a case file for why HDR is more important than 4K. Like, higher resolution is great. Of course it is. More detailed textures is a good thing. Why wouldn't you have that if you could? However, high dynamic range is magical because it creates realistic lighting situations, something we couldn't have in games before. These are the things that's the reason it catches your breath. You're like, shit, because you can, even in this fantasy world, you can recognize some semblance of reality, and it just... And you can't show HDR. That's the other thing. People keep saying, when are you going to make a capture device to capture HDR? You can't. It's part of the code. It's not like I'm capturing the graphics. It's a device coding, a system telling another system how to display something. it's breathtaking. Like it is. It's just incredible. Like, and Aloy herself, like, I think is an interesting and important visual design, because I think for the first time that I can think of, it's a female lead in a game that is. It's not this bombshell. It's not movie-like attractiveness that Aloy has. Do you know what I mean? She
wears clothes.
She's covered up.
Practical
and she's an attractive girl, but she's an attractive girl in the girl next door kind of right.
She's gorgeous.
But not in a movie
not
star.
In a like, look at it kind of way.
Exactly. She's just.
She's gorgeous though.
Yep.
She's just gorgeous, and I love her.
Yep.
She's my favourite. Have we got a best character?
No, but we wouldn't need to, because
she wins it hands down. She's amazing, and I love her.
Anya, and Wolfenstein 2.
No, I get where you're going, Gaz, and I can respect that.
Shouldn't come close to my Aloy.
Well, it depends if she's pregnant and on the horn, but
between the two at least.
Yeah.
I don't know. Aloy's a bit of a menace.
Yeah.
To be honest, isn't she? She's a bit of a menace.
2B, she's a bit of all right. Anyway,
so yeah,
I think we're locked.
No,
we're locked.
It's definitely. I think that's the end of this podcast. So yeah, so best visuals then. Best visuals: 5th place Assassin's Creed Origins, 4th place Cuphead, 3rd place Persona 5, 2nd place Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, and the best visuals of this year, Horizon Zero Dawn. And just in case you've forgotten already, best multiplayer in 5th place Injustice 2, PES 18 in 4th, 3rd place Destiny 2, 2nd place Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, 1st place PUBG. That's day 3 wrapped. Day 4 is all about best audio and best moment, and then we're into day 5, which is most anticipated and the overall top 10 of the year. Thanks for sticking with us through the week so far. Plenty more to come. Nicola, thanks for your time.
You're very welcome, and I'm sorry, Chris.
Yep.
Oh, it's okay.
You should have just gone silent. You should have just said nothing. Just like leave it like then I could have dubbed in the EastEnders. Dum dum dum. I don't even watch it. Chris, thank you for your time as well.
Thank you,
Gaz. As always, a pleasure.
Yep, been good.
It's getting. He's still sore about Injustice. People are getting touchy.
No,
that's game of the year.
Injustice 2 is in one of them lists, and I'm good with that.
Okay, right. Well, we're good with that. We'll see you tomorrow for day 4. Thanks again for listening. Yeah. Wow. Okay, bye.